All right. I don't know if anybody's there. Anyways, I started up today. I got approved for my cookie store. Right, get to that later. And welcome to 501 Day, the day where we celebrate. Anyways, all these jeans. I started up today. I got approved for my... Okay. Ha. Sorry for having that on there. Welcome to 501 Day. It's 153 years since the patent was authorized for riveted garments. Jacob Davis's invention, funded by Mr. Levi Strauss. And, of course, this is a holiday we have been doing on the channel since it's been incepted. Well, I guess the second year we did it. So this is my fourth live stream doing it. And it's nice to just catch up, talk about some of the things that I wanted to talk about throughout the year, but couldn't make a video about, and always hoping to, and then it just flies right by. Every 501 Day, the Levi's Vintage Clothing Collection, that's what all these items are from, releases a new item. And this year, it is the 1870 pairs. Share my window with you again. So then, yeah, I thought I could do all of these together. I don't understand. So these are the 1870s. And I am also wearing the pair of 1870s. Now, I have the ones from 3 years ago that are based on the distressed ones. I don't know why they're calling them Nevadas when they're rigid. Nevada refers to how the pair was distressed and then found. Anyways, I'm not complaining. I've got a pair of 1880s Nevadas. These ones are called the Napav. Nevadas go back to 1998, I believe, was when the first pair sold for about $50,000, and this was like, oh wow, jeans are selling for so much, and they're so old. And then pretty quickly, the Napav were found, and these is a pair that are basically like long shorts, and the ankles were probably used as tools, something like gloves for pickaxe, shovel. It is a fantastic pair. I did a video where I talked about I did a video talking about some cheap items just recently, and I forgot to include this one. So Levi's vintage clothing scores for under $60. Yeah, this one was about $40. The guy had, I guess, it came with a jerky tag. This is jerky, you see? It's really hard and shrunk. It's basically a piece of leather that happened with. Whereas, otherwise you should have a little more of a robust tag. Here's from a duck item. And it's just nice and soft. I guess it's nice that they've done that. So, going back to the 1870s, This pair compared to when they did the 1874s, which were like the first with Arcuate, those were made in Turkey. This pair happens to be made in Poland, out of Cone Mills Loom State. Wow, white oak. I don't understand, produced in limited quantities in the US, made in Poland. Then the other thing I don't get is that the factory's been closed for 2 years. So I don't understand what is going on. Did they reopen a factory? It was in Płock. I really wanted to visit that. It seemed like I have a couple jeans made from there. My wife has a few jeans made from there, actually. I don't know if I have any items made from the factory in Poland. That's pretty sad. There's like some more men's upper middle class designer that makes selvage denim in Poland. That's the only selvage denim producer I can find in Poland. Otherwise, with special editions, let's see, they did re-release the Cossack jacket. I have mine here. The Einstein it is. I love this. I love my jacket. I'm too scared to ever wear it. And I think I did call it that they're going to make a distressed one. So this new one is slightly distressed or just a little darker. Call it his jacket, her jacket. It should come with the fragrance. I've talked a little bit about DS Durga. I have a lot of samples of them that I really love their Burning Barbershop. And I hope they make that in, deodorant, hand soap. It's fantastic. Here's the other item that they did in Christmas, I think, and I was calling that they would do this one, the Shane sack coat. 19th century sack coat that has these curved pockets. They discovered a sack coat that had these features and did a little video about that. I was pretty much sure they were going to make it, but yes, the new items from the LVC collection, they're focusing primarily on rigids. If you go to Cultivism, I post, I'll put it in the description down below, but basically it's a KTK Kotoko link. I get a few, it's my, get a few bucks if you buy anything. It's, no biggie, whatever. I let you know when they got the new items, but it's not just this. It's a lot of other denim and other men's selvage items related. So most of what they're doing is all rigid through the classic years. Then they're throwing in a few other years. You will see that there are some distressed pairs that they're adding in. That's fine. I think it's nonsense, kind of, but some people are liking them. I say stick with the rigids. Yeah, that one. That's the other one. This is so cool. But yes, the S jacket from... They haven't made this since like 1999, 2000. So it's been like 25 so years since they made the S506. Otherwise, as far as like Levi's concerned, some people are talking about this blue tab. I was pretty not wowed. They say premium, the most premium, but it's I'm pretty sure all the items are made in China. That's pretty much what it looked like. Okay, some are made in Japan. That's part of the Made in Japan series then. See, MIJ. They have, some of them are crossed over. Let's look at the jacket. I am not too wowed. There you go. See, good old Made in People's Republic of... I don't give a crap. Oh man, I'm so glad I don't work for them stupid country anymore. No offense. I got fired 3 times from them. Once for when COVID happened, and they're like, "Yeah, we can pay people less, so see ya. We'll rehire you at a lower rate." Then the next one is China's 270, 720 policy, whatever, where no foreign teachers, because you might tell them about Taiwan or Tibet or the Uyghurs. And then they basically, it just hurt the companies and the teachers, and then they redid it. Like, they're like, "Yeah, we're going to ignore that now." And then I'm working for a company with them. It's not much. They don't have many classes. And they're like, "Well, we can just pay less because we're still paying too high. So, get rid of me." Oh, man. So, 19th century pairs. I got to do another 19th century episode. I'm reading Lynn Downey's book. Her biography of Levi Strauss, and so many great tidbits, so many great juicy morsels to put into another episode. Fun stuff to learn about. I knew Jacob Davis had failed businesses, at least 7. He was a tobacco farmer. He had dabbled in other little things, and none of them were working out. He had lived in Sweden, Poland, or what partitioned Poland, I guess, would be like the German part. And then he had lived in the East Coast of America and moved out west, had lived until Nevada. He was terrible at record keeping and just really didn't give a rat's ass here or there for it. He eventually would work with Mr. Strauss, who was very good at having people do this because he had a big company. I wonder if that was part of why he didn't succeed, was by not having good record keeping, although I imagine back then it was a little different. I am starting my own record keeping, and every time I go to deduct something, I don't need to keep the receipts. I was doing all that, and I find out that by punching in my number, it already enters in, and I can double check them now, but I have some organization skills when it comes to that. Always curious about Mr. Davis, about Jacob Davis, because we just don't know enough. But there's no doubt he would have been an eccentric character. His son was definitely Simon Davis. I've done episodes about him. I got to add one into the series, my 501 series. This outlines the overall series. I'm going to bring it into the 21st century, past what the LEC collection is. But here's the Simon Davis episode. I know it says kids coveralls, but it's much more to it. So there's so much. The 601s, amazing. And then I have not done another 501 episode. It's been since the 1917, which is just a fun one. So much fun to make, to watch. Oh yeah, the history of jeans on film. And it starts with what was possibly a pair of 1917s. I think 1920 was when it began. It was 1917. It was talk about it in there. 1927 is what I'm hoping to do, and it is a complex episode full of history of cotton, how cotton impacted the 1920s sales, and how the Haas's were taking over from the Strausses, Davises, Stearns that were running it. Then I've also got Sally Fox and heirloom cotton to talk about in there. It's got a lot going on. History cotton is fascinating. It's one of the plants that grew in both hemispheres. Not many can talk about that. A few culinary ones, walnuts, but they're different walnuts. But cotton and indigo both grew in Mexico and India. The New World and the Old World. Very rare. It's almost like blue jeans were intended by the universe to happen. If you haven't checked it out, I did the Hedges episode. Fantastic. That's been the only item my wife has gotten. I got my shirt, my So-So shirt, and I doing shorts, talking about all that, so you can see my shirt here for Redline Rally. I might have bitten off more than I can chew, but I'm going to jump into it. My jeans, though, I have been wearing these just every single day, loving my contrast for the honeycombs, and I've achieved full whiskerage. It's been fun. I don't remember the last time I've had such fun with a pair of jeans. My boy is getting, he's doing a Type 3 Sherpa for Redline Rally, and he is getting the most use of all of us. Going to the playground and just really roughing it up. So it kind of needs a wash. But he probably won't wear it for the rest of the season until autumn begins. With shirts, shirts and jackets a little harder in this type of season, but one mistake I made was not having a over jacket that was big enough to fit this 20-ounce shirt. All of my jackets, coats, are much less weight, and they're all medium. I have my windbreaker raincoat that I can wear with it. Right now is kind of an okay season for wearing both of those, but this is America's 250th birthday this year. Really excited. The cookie store will have, in addition to all the other cookies that are just American-esque, I will have my George Washington's chopped cherry tree cookie. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. The dough base has some cherry blossom water and I think it's called Sakura. And some allspice. And then some chopped pecans, chopped dried cherries, a little maple syrup. Hoping to have some fun cookies for the 4th of July madness. If you're a soldier stationed in Poland and a little taste of home, plus some adventurous ones, awaits you at my cookie store, which has finally opened. I don't have... let's see. I was able to make a few cookies. My classic Daddy-O. Just my version of an old fashioned chocolate chip cookie. Using great chocolate and aged with molasses. Meant to be dunked in milk, but I got some coffee right now. Yeah. Molasses and aged dough. Brown butter. That's a fun one. Let's see what else I have in here. Nice Stow-Lot cookie. Who's gonna make installments on a cookie? I gotta get rid of that. That's just hilarious. Stow-Lot, I call it. Happy birthday cookie, but it is addictive. For kids, for everyone. 4th of July, I'll put in red, white, and blue sprinkles and blue stars or something like that. It's a great one for the holidays. You can change all the colors. Halloween. And it uses blonde chocolate. Now, I've tried buying blonde chocolate and they are terrible. Caramelized white chocolate, so I just make my own. It's the only way. It's the only way. Otherwise, it just tastes terrible. This one tastes pretty good. And the only other cookie... Oh, Whiskey Doodle is a fun one. I'll make those tomorrow. The almond croissant is a lot of work because I laminate my dough. Here's my Mother's Day one with rose water, ruby rose chocolates, ruby red chocolate, ruby pink chocolate, and rose petals. Next week is Polish Mother's Day, so I'll have it for that. Oh, well, that's my, that cookie has a lot going on in it, and so, here it is. Yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cookie Crisp, and Trix. When I go to remake this, I'm hoping to put a marshmallow milk center. Just need some cartoons. You can have these delivered throughout Poland, plus all my other flavors. Europe next. I've got small little crunchies for inside the store and soft ones. And I'm making fudge too. Here's my peanut butter. I do like fudge. Not the biggest peanut butter fudge fan, but the cocoa one is too addictive. Oh yeah. Even the peanut butter is good. Oh. That's finally my business. And you're like, why are you so excited? Blah, blah, blah. Because I've been paying my dues for 30 years. I started working at a movie theater, AMC movie theaters, 30 years ago. Couldn't wait to get a job at 16. And there was hope for like 10 years. You're working, but you know, you just got to pay your dues and it will all work out. And the job I last had for the last 8 years, being an online English teacher, it doesn't have to be terrible. When I started 10 years ago, I got paid 80% of what the students were paying. By the time I left, I'm getting paid 20% of what the students are paying. So there's resentment on all sides. The blessing, lowered pay every year, that sucks. That's evil on the company. That's pure greed. And we know we're getting replaced by AI pretty soon, within 3 years. That's not even the worst of it. The worst, it's not even, the second worst is the constant bad tech, where I have to hear my own voice repeated back in because of echoes. I made some other videos about this. I have a whole channel explaining I made a John Oliver episode about it. I talk about how this fatigue of me hearing all these sounds, all the handling noises whenever the kids are blowing into the microphone, moving the microphone. And nobody explains this. Nobody goes and does anything to explain anything of it. So I am just getting destroyed by being punched in the ear constantly. 9 hours a day. 6 days a week for the last 8 years. And I'm blessed to have any work because of that. Really? This is not the way people should be treated. But that's not even the worst. The worst is that when like a cat dies or my wife goes into labor, I can't be there because I can't cancel a class because I will get fired. There's no exception for having, you can not get out of any booked classes. You will be fired. They love firing. So you can't have a life. That drove us crazy. Even just having bad tech, it's terrible. If you have a student, a kid on Nova Kid, you are supporting sweatshops. You are staring. Ask the teacher how much they make, how much. When's the last time they had a raise, and what are the real conditions of it? Because no, it is. I've had 50 different. Worked for 50 different companies, 40 different job titles across 9 different industries. I think I know a bad job from it's not that bad. I don't know a great job. I worked for In-N-Out Burger. There was a promise of moving up, and I felt good at the end of the day after working hard. All right, let's get back to some Levi's stuff. What do you guys think of Blue Tab? Because I'm not that much interested in it in any way. The LVC is really all I care about. And I love talking about these items. I love the ones I have. I love the history of it all. New dude. So. What else do I want to cover? Yes. Change that. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just copy it like that. Oh. Okay. So, Adriano Goldschmied. Adriano. He's known as the Godfather of Denim. He just passed a month ago. And a lot of the tailors are torn up. And if you're wondering like who he was, he basically took jeans from being this cultural phenomenon to bringing it into the high fashion state. So his work in the 70s and 80s is pushing to see denim as a material that you could use in high fashion. He is one of the co-founders of Diesel Jeans. Diesel had created these, which is just phenomenal. And he probably had a big part to do with it. But the oldest recorded pair of something that would be an ancestor of jeans. Some sort of weaved, weft and weave, warp and weft weave. It's blue. So, and it all came from this little figurine, some Christmas scene in Italy. Yeah, it's a small community, so when someone passes, then it gets around. And the mustache community, Wonder Stash, had just passed less than 2 weeks ago. He discovered he had cancer before the beginning of the year, and then it was like just a few months, boom. I will get to some of these questions. Thanks. Keep asking, and all right. I'm just trying to make sure I'm keeping on to topic, and it is absolutely. Here's the big controversy of last year, and I think it's right to blame her. So just keep yelling at her and throw tomatoes because she obviously wrote, directed, starred in, edited this ad. I mean, there's even, we found this. She's even putting the billboards up on, I mean, the poster people. Every element, even did the legal probably. So, she's in a show called Eugenics, I think. Anytime you become a celebrity, you're automatically granted a PhD in political science. So you have to listen to these people. No, I think it's hysterical that someone shows up for like modeling. There's no words when you're showing up for modeling. Very rarely do you have any idea what it's going to be used for. I mean, you've probably seen a lot of stock things where it's going to be the same. You have no idea. So why people think that this is like she had any idea what the words were going to be there or has any responsibility to do that. But yeah, that's kind of the nature of the business. Pretty funny. There's a new Barbarella movie coming out with her, and I have mixed feelings about it. So, again, American Eagle, terrible products. I got a gift certificate from them like 20 years ago, and I went in and I'm looking and I'm like, wow, like there's nothing. I think I bought a belt, and that belt ended up rubbing onto some pants and like ruining the pants. Someone else from work was like, yeah, I was looking in there, like there's nothing I could buy. It's a weird company. Anyways, I have this tattooed on my leg, and I love the film. The original film is mind-blowing because you have to understand it is this bridge where sci-fi and fantasy before this were all in literature. You have greats like Asimov and Tolkien writing stuff, but nobody can visualize what it's supposed to look like until Star Trek and Star Wars for sci-fi, and then really until Jackson with fantasy. I don't know why fantasy. I mean, you have some fun fantasy in the 80s. You have Sword and the Sorcerer with the 4-bladed sword that shoots daggers. Oh, it's great. But again, it's still in its infancy stage. Barbarella is this cusp, but tries to figure out where that's going to go. Does it in its own original way, and then decides, you know what? Let's throw a bunch of sex into here because it's the 60s. And let's also add some religion, because sci-fi needs religion. It just doesn't have enough of it going on. It's over the top camp, and it's just good, fun filmmaking that makes no sense. And if you enjoy it, great. If you don't, then whatever. In a postmodern kind of way, it's fun to analyze. How she'll do, I have no idea. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say, you do you. Have your own adventure with it. Hopefully it will be fully cheesy and not trying to take itself seriously. Point Break, the original, didn't take itself super seriously, but then the remake tried to, and it was like, I even forgot there was a remake for a while. There's a Mary Poppins too. I don't recommend that. Well, what other movies are we talking about? Yes, this one I will probably be seeing. Oh, please have Battle Cat in it. Please have Battle Cat. Cringer. I was my kid's age when He-Man came out. as a cartoon. And toys, loved it. Loved it. The movie, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Courtney loves his denim jacket. I've talked about this before. I'm like, I know this guy. Who is this guy? And then I'm trying to figure it out. And this is all I got. It's the guy from North 2. No, I know it isn't, but I was like, I know him. No, totally new actor. Giving it a shot. Yeah, this one, for the He-Man movie. Did I not show you that it's He-Man? Little excited. It could be whatever. And I think what I'm mostly excited about, for as far as films is concerned, this year, I will be doing at least an episode, if not a couple more, all about Young Guns 3. I had the poster of Part 2 in my bedroom. This one. Phenomenal. I mean, you've got 4 actors right here that can just do no wrong. No wrong. I mean, Christian Slater's, the movie Poe was amazing. Totally underrated. I even like Cuffs. But you take a Name of the Rose? Who doesn't love that one? Some one where he's a skateboarder and then they come after his brother. Whole list of them. Even his non stuff, he's just knocking him out of the park. Lou Diamond Phillips, it's good to see him again. Part 1 is good. Part 2 is phenomenal. And got high hopes for Part 3. And apparently there'll be like Part 4 and 5. We're taking the storyline from Part 2 that he doesn't die, he survives, and he's going to have these adventures. And I've talked about what adventures he should have. Even in Billy the Kid in real life, could have historically worn Levi's. He could have. Most likely would have been Duck. Most likely would have been something from the 1870s. But if we're extending the timeline, then he's got to be wearing Levi's at some point. So to work those in, especially from the LVC collection, would be phenomenal. I'm so hoping they do that. Either way, it'll be hopefully just a wonderful film to watch. Something I want to go to theaters to see. And I get to the cinema like once a year. I've kind of been going with my kid, and he's been loving it. But yeah, it has to be something phenomenal. Now, I guess I'm going to check out these questions. So hopefully I'm seeing everybody's questions. Oh, is that it? So, the Cube went to 20 years ago. I went to one 20 years ago, too, and was like, nah. Happy birthday to Copper Rivets. Yeah, there might be some sales going on if you just want to pick up some cheap pairs. My Brave Star are not true straight. They are whatever's right below that, which I think is slim straight. I think it still has straight into there. And I'm glad I did that because I don't want the legs to be so straight that I can't pull them up. Tapered would be, I think, too tight, but that's what I would go for otherwise. I basically make an accordion with them, pull them up, and I'm getting some stacks happening. It took me 2 months to figure this out. I've been trying it on my shirt, but I need buttons. I need an extender for snap buttons, and unless I have the exact match of the snap buttons, I can't do that. With buttons on a jacket, then you can get these button extenders that I had on like my Christmas episode, and they work pretty well. I'm really loving the Brave Star pair that I got. I have been having so much fun with that. Really loving heavyweight denim. It's warmer, that is the fact. That is one big thing, but it's the fact that, and I'm talking to an unbleached apparel guy about this, and he is telling me it has drape, and I'm thinking like, how do you mean drape? Because it just goes, it's so heavy it goes down. It doesn't have a drape, and I think of drape as like how it would flow, but the absence of that is still having it. And essentially, as soon as you fold it, it starts to make those lines in those places. So when I go back, it's going to grab those same lines again and fold it. Whereas with a lighter weight item, every time it will be in different lines, but that's also kind of the beauty of it. I did not buy anything today. I'm 4 months behind on rent at home. My landlords live next door and they're being really cool. I got a loan for half of what I requested, which was already half of what I really needed for this cookie store. And it's all spent. Even my buffer, which I wasn't supposed to touch, I'm supposed to have a buffer. So I am basically living off of pantry staples, frozen food from whatever last holiday, and just hoping that I'll sell cookies this weekend. Hoping I can sell and get some revenue, because it is scary. I never wanted to be a teacher. I just want to be a writer, but I've been working in restaurants so much growing up that I started to have lots of ideas about it. And now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to shine. Now it's my turn to do it. Everything is on me. If sales are slow, I got a Cookie Monster suit. I go out and walk in the street and dance. It's not a street for driving. It's a tourist street. But yeah, if I could buy an item besides within the LVC collection, what they have, that sack coat's pretty cool. But no, I wouldn't want to get something from Hedges for myself. That was phenomenal. Working with George and just amazing. If I'm going to be talking about next year's Indigo Invitational and what I will be planning on getting, or the next pair that I actually do plan on buying, is going to be something from Pinion. I'll show you them. It's a Thai company, and it's a little, you have to go to their Instagram and then contact them. So when they fade with colors. It could be red, yellow, purple. It's very interesting. I think they have nice fades. I like the little... Pinion means feather. The only person I've ever heard use it is from the poetry of John Keats. I've never heard someone else use pinions other than John Keats in his poems. It has been a lot of fun doing Indigo Invitational, wearing the same pair of jeans. This is the first time this year I'm in a pair of Levi's. As far as, technically, I've been in my Brave Stars or my So-So shirt. And actually, I've been just recently wearing my triple pleat blouse. Great for summer. Well, it's hitting an hour almost, and so much happening. Got to rant about stuff, movies, job, made in China bullshit, and showed you my cookie stuff. Hopefully this is working for me and I don't have to be this just abused worker who doesn't have time for his hobby, doesn't have time for anything. It hasn't been hope for a long time. There hasn't been any light at the end of the tunnel for a very long time. So this is, hopefully the healing will start. The neurological damage from all this audio, and every 30 minutes you can potentially be late, and it's just this constant panic attack. And I know it's like in the last couple of weeks been going down. Well, I don't see any other questions. Wrangler Bluebell. I do hope to hit on the Lee and Wrangler in the series, but I have to lower my expectations in some sense. It's been great doing this channel and more things to it. I tried getting on Reddit and answering some questions. I was on Reddit for like 1 month and I've been permanently banned. I don't get how they're doing that. They just because you mention something that is like historical form of violence to answer a history question, then you get banned, and they don't care that you weren't addressing anyone. So they're kind of, I don't understand what their deal is. You can straight up insult people all over the place, but if you say something about history, factual, and it's too gruesome, even if it's in a board for that, then nope, they gotta ban you. And I thought, oh, well, whatever, it's just a couple days. Oh, it's for life now. Well, okay. So if you know anyone on Reddit who can help me with that, I would love to get back on and answer a lot of Denim questions. I have other, questions for other things, but yeah, too scared now. Oh, whoa. Man. Let me know when you're watching this. I'm curious how you guys are going to celebrate 501 Day. Did just go to Tommy's for Tommy's Day. It's 80 years of Tommy's Burger, which means McDonald's and In-N-Out Burger will be 80 in 2 years. Tommy's is a Great Depression era burger with the chili. It really fills you up. That was last Friday. I was allowed to open today, so technically on my paperwork, it does say May 20th. I was open for 30 minutes today, and I really, I only had a couple cookies, and I didn't have open sign. Tomorrow I'll be open for a few hours, another soft opening, and then Friday, hopefully this is the beginning of the good part of my life instead of waiting. It's been too much waiting where I cannot do anything. Working harder doesn't get me farther. I just have to wait until it's my turn. And no one wanted to help me with this. It's fine. I think that there were people who wanted me to succeed. They just had no power in the situation. It turned out to get the store going, I needed like $7,000. I mean, 10 would have made it easier. 20 would have made it easier. But no, at least I have my own job. I don't have to worry about getting fired every second. I don't have to worry about someone just yelling at me just because. I've had several jobs where I'm just an emotional punching bag. I'm sure some of you've had those too. It's not right. It's not right the way to treat people. And I know that our system is messed up because I had a good idea. I had a lot of hard work. I had follow through. I just didn't have capital. And that's where we all kind of come back to Jacob Davis didn't have capital to make his riveted garments. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't afford the patent. He couldn't afford people to help him. But he was still at least selling and doing some business. But he knew that it would be stolen if he didn't get the patent. Now, would better record keeping have helped him? Would someone have just said, hey, here's the money, get your patent, and do your thing? But then he met Levi Strauss, who said, no, we can take this further. We can sell a bunch of these, sell some other garments around it. I already have distributors. I already have everything. Let's start making clothes. He made his first pair of riveted garments in December of 1870. And for the next year and a half was making them. And so he wrote Levi Strauss, said, hey, you got to help me. I'm buying fabric from you. You need to get in on this with me, or can I borrow the money for this, or whatever. And then Mr. Strauss said, I'll do you one better. Move to San Francisco and we'll, you'll be in charge of this part of my factory that I'll make now. But would he have succeeded? Would we have been wearing a pair of Davises? That's the question we got to ask. Capitalism requires capital, but how you can attain that capital is a different story. Man, I gotta say, like, if I was on a sinking ship industry, and if I didn't do what I did now, there was no being patient. There's no being patient in any way, because I'm making less money every year. The industry is completely crashing. There's no replacing it, and I don't think my brain can take any more of this bad audio. I apologize for any of my videos that had bad audio of snap, crackle, pops, or me sounding like I'm down a hallway. I'm sorry. Still a lot better than all the noises that I had to deal with. I do love Levi's, and I am really glad that I'm venturing out into other denim companies and what I can talk about with them. And this channel has been a wonderful hobby for me. I thank all of you. And you can still help me out right now. I have the Patreon open. You can help me out on PayPal. Super thanks, even though it's an Ewok growling, and that's also my notification. I hate asking for help in any way, but hopefully everything is working out with this store now, and I can close the Patreon, or at least just make the tiers all just free, and I'll post some other stuff there. And everyone who gave me $1 at any point, or any favor, Darren or Moisen or Tobias, all of you get your names in a thank you sheet, and that will be part of the 501 series until I'm finished with that. I thank you guys so much. It helped me get a new microphone, and then I think money to replace that microphone, which will happen. But I don't like taking money from people, and I'm not doing this for the money. I just thought maybe it could help me transition from one thing to the next, to get out of that terrible teaching job and to get more in line with doing something. Now, hopefully, I am supporting myself with everything again. Because it was a lot of trouble. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Den. Love your jeans, love yourself, love the planet, and love each other. I am going to have my classic Daddy-O cookie and enjoy a moment. Yeah. I do make good cookies. I hope you get to try them.